Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I will be looking at 3 different YouTube shorts that all aim to refute the theory of evolution in some capacity. Some of these YouTube shorts portray misunderstandings of the theory of evolution, and others are just absurd. Before continuing on with the video, I have to let you all know that just over 5% of my viewers are subscribed, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. Thank you, now on with the video. This first short that we're going to be looking at is by the YouTuber Subboor Ahmad, and the short is titled Muslim vs. Atheist on Evolution. Before clicking play, I want to remind you all that this video is not an attack on any religion or any religious beliefs that do not directly hinder our ability to progress as a species. Okay, to provide context for what's on the screen, on the bottom here is the popular atheist YouTuber Aaron Ra, and on the top is the previously mentioned Subboor Ahmad.
You believe in instrumentalism, you
believe it.
Do you subscribe to it?
Yeah, that
okay, you subscribe to
fair.
it. Then that basically means when scientists are talking about unobservable entities, processes and structures,
right,
they are not saying something which is true. They are saying something which it might be true or might be false. They're agnostic about it. So if you're a scientific instrumentalist, that means Darwinian evolution, which you support, you don't believe it to be true if you're an instrumentalist. So that basically means this whole time, Aaron, you know what you just did? What? I made a little hole, you walked into it. Now, if you believe in
Subboor greatly misrepresents Aaron Ra's position in my opinion, and greatly misrepresents the adoption of the theory of evolution. He starts off by trying to make it seem like Aaron Ra accepting the theory of evolution is comparable to the belief in a god. These things are not comparable, as the theory of evolution has mountains of substantiating evidence, while religious beliefs are just faiths. Again, this is not to attack religion. I myself believe in God, but I do not try to equate those beliefs to science. Subboor is trying to make the claim that you cannot be an instrumentalist and adopt the theory of evolution at the same time. Such claims are completely false. The definition of instrumentalism that I will be using is the view that the value of scientific concepts and theories is determined not by whether they are literally true or correspond to reality in some sense, but by the extent to which they help make accurate empirical predictions or to resolve conceptual problems. So subscribing to instrumentalism does not mean that you cannot accept the theory of evolution at the same time. They are not competing theories and philosophies, and they can absolutely coexist. Using that previously mentioned definition of instrumentalism, you can clearly understand that it does not contradict the theory of evolution, even though Subboor says it does. You can go to pretty much any 2 species in the fossil record and make an empirical prediction of finding some sort of transition fossil, like the Tiktaalik, connecting the 2 species and have it verified. I would also like to point out that simply shouting over your opponent does not mean that you win an argument, and it in fact demonstrates that you're not capable of conducting an appropriate debate. This next short that we're going to be looking at is by the YouTube channel I Am Now Found, and it seeks to use a singular fossil as evidence for a young Earth.
The debate on evolution is over. Check this out. Alvis Delk discovered this dinosaur fossil footprint. Originally, he thought it wasn't a big deal, but when he had to sell his collection, something amazing happened, and you've got to see this. When the new owners cleaned it off, they found a human footprint under the dinosaurs. Look right there. They did a spiral CT scan to verify it hadn't been falsified, and the human's print was pressed down by the dinosaur. Man and dinosaurs coexisted, proving not only that evolutionary timelines and evolution itself are wrong, but again, showing that the biblical account of creation is accurate. If you believe in evolution, God loves you, even in your disbelief of Him. And like this fossil, you are never too lost to be found. Subscribe right now and share this to show the love of God to someone. The debate on
This short is pretty baffling to me in my opinion. It is extremely ironic that most young Earth creationists will argue non-stop about the fossil record somehow not being valid in determining evolution, while at the same time jumping to an insane conclusion like this after finding a singular fossil with a vaguely shaped human footprint. One piece of data in any field or any line of work is never sufficient for reaching a conclusion, especially if it is an extremely radical conclusion like this one. Okay, this isn't entirely related, but if your idea of God is that He's truly a caring being, then why would He plant countless pieces of evidence that would allow people to reach the conclusion of evolution? If God really does love us, then why would He purposely try to mislead people into an ideology that would condemn them to hell? If God really is the being claimed by people in shorts like this, then in my opinion God is corrupt and absolutely not worthy of devotion. Alright, now on to the final short. Alright, so with this next short, you might want to rewatch it a few times because this is the fastest speaking human I've ever heard. The short is called Entire Evolution Debunked in 60 Seconds and is by the channel UAM.
Evolutionists love making fun of those that don't believe in it, claiming that theirs is the more rational position. But for evolution to happen, they had to have had DNA. And so the question is, where did DNA come from? Because mutations can occur if there's a DNA to mutate to. Also, a lot of evolutionists mistakenly believe that evolution is a fact, that it's 100% proven, and yet they fail to answer and struggle with providing answers to where body plants came from, because then it would just be a magical story of arms and legs that is sprouting out even for a long time. They also fail to explain why there's birds that have knowledge of building complex nests with dual entries to protect against snakes, birds that weave leaves to make nests, fish that trap insects and know that sprouting water would cause insects and arachnids to form. Also, they conflate evolution with natural selection, taking them interchangeably, when for natural selection to take place there has to be not only a suitable environment but living things for it to occur. So these living things must also be able to reproduce, otherwise there's no natural selection. Where did the reproductive organs come from? They say that an evidence for it is their similarity due to common ancestry, ergo similarity due to similarity, in other ways secular reasoning. They claim that life came from chemicals, but the chemicals themselves have to have had cell membranes protect themselves from their chiralities and survive in the harshest of conditions, and then code the information that details how they would grow and what traits they would have, and all this while the earth was not even properly formed according to them, and dinosaurs had to have had evolved in this short time. What a bedtime story. Evolutionists love making.
The short begins with the same completely irrelevant fact that the theory of evolution does not account for abiogenesis, which is a process that zero acceptors of evolution claim can be explained by the theory. It is beyond frustrating to have to explain on every other short how dumb of a point this is. Imagine working for your whole life to get a biology degree, and then you get on here and some clown describes it as a magical story where arms and legs suddenly sprouted out. If this guy's goal is to seriously provide insight and change the minds of people, directly insulting the viewers with differing beliefs, as well as the millions of people working in biology-related fields worldwide, is an absolutely terrible way of going about doing it. For him to discount decades and even centuries of research by millions of people more qualified than himself, while his alternative is, God did a thing, he greatly demonstrates his own ignorance on the subject. And why is he even attempting to make a point about animals being born with knowledge and instinct? Why are birds the only example provided when pretty much all animals are born with some level of instinctual knowledge? And pretty much everyone with above high school knowledge in biology recognizes that evolution is not interchangeable with natural selection. Natural selection is instead one of many components that influences evolution. And then he ends the video with trying to cram about 10 minutes of information into the last 15 seconds, and you can not at all understand what is being said without reading the captions. One of the last points made is one of the strangest ones so far. The existence of reproduction does literally nothing to counter evolution. Everything since the first organism has been able to reproduce. Countless animals today still reproduce asexually, and even multisexual reproduction does literally nothing to prove any point he's trying to make. Alright, so that is a majority of the topics he touched on, and I apologize for making you all endure these painful videos, but thank you all for watching regardless. Until next time.